Deep in the village, far from the noise of the city, where the hills roll green and the morning smell of damp earth, one woman decides to build something with her own two hands. No crew, no machines, just simple tools, raw timber, and time. This is the story of a gate, not just any gate, a rustic wooden gate with a tiled roof built entirely off-grid, entirely alone. It begins in the ground. She marks out two spots, one on either side, and starts to dig, 4 feet down. No excavator, no shortcuts, just a shovel, her strength, and the quiet stubbornness it takes to do this kind of work solo. These holes will carry the full weight of everything still to come. Next. She mixes concrete by hand, batch after batch, and pours it into the holes. This is the foundation, literally. Everything above ground depends on what happens here, below it. While the concrete is still workable, she lowers wooden post bases into place, held steady inside a simple wooden mold box she's built herself. Embedded in wet concrete and sand, these bases will anchor the main beams for years to come, keeping them locked firmly to the earth. Around the base of each post, she builds up small square wooden collars, resting on a concrete paver. It's a small detail, but an important one. It lifts the timber off the damp ground, protecting it from rot before the gate has even taken shape. With the footings curing, she turns her attention to the crossbeams, joining the horizontal supports together on the ground first, piece by piece, into a frame that almost looks like a long wooden bench. It's easier and safer to build it low before it ever has to stand tall. Once the concrete has had time to set and harden, she carefully knocks away the wooden molds, revealing solid footings underneath. Clean, square, and ready to carry weight. She adds extra timber onto the footings, reinforcing the connection point where the ground meets the beams. Extra insurance for a structure that has to stand strong through wind, rain, and time. Now the crossbeams go in for real, fitted into position and locked down with screws. The first moment, the gate begins to look less like separate pieces of wood and more like a structure. This is where the real test of working alone begins. Standing on the crossbeam itself, high above the ground, she fits the triangular roof truss, the peak that will one day carry the tiled roof. No safety harness, no second pair of hands. Just balance, patience, and trust in the joints she's already built. She reinforces the truss with double bracing, screwing everything down tight. Out here, there's no calling someone in to fix a mistake later. Everything has to be right the first time. And then, single-handedly, she lifts the full truss into position, interlocking it with the post beams and driving in the screws that will hold it there. It's a heavy, awkward, physically demanding moment, and she does it completely alone. With the truss secured, she adds the wooden supports that will form the platform for the roof itself, the skeleton the tiles will eventually rest on. One by one, she fits and nails the wooden battens and rafters onto the frame, and slowly, the pitched shape of the roof begins to emerge from what used to be just beams and air. With a nail gun in hand, she works her way up the pitch, fixing down thin wooden sheathing strips, the base layer the clay tiles will finally sit on. And then the tiles go on, row after row of warm terracotta, catching the light, transforming a wooden frame into something that finally looks like shelter, like a gateway with a roof over it, standing guard over the land. She finishes the roofline with fascia boards along every edge, a clean detail that pulls the whole roof together. Turning back to the posts, she begins wrapping them in thin 1 centimeter round wooden sticks. Hundreds of them side by side, giving the posts their signature rustic textured look. Before the gate itself is even hung, she builds a wooden frame to shape a concrete path, the walkway that will tie the whole structure firmly to the ground it stands on. She mixes the concrete once more, pours it in, and smooths it flat. Now, the final piece, the gate itself. Using reclaimed, reused wood, she measures and cuts each piece with precision, joining them together into the frame of the double doors that will finally close this entrance. She sheaths the door frames with the same round wooden sticks used on the posts, tying every element of the build together and adding one final layer of rustic detail. The hinges go on, and then, in the last and maybe most satisfying step of all, she lifts one heavy gate door on her own, hangs it onto the post beam, and then does it again for the second.